these positive signs from the Russian side that they're open to a prisoner exchange, but there has been no progress that we know about on that from them. So it's just a wait and see game at the moment.
Friends and family of wrongfully detained Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich still waiting for movement in his case. Russian officials announcing this week they are extending his pretrial detention by 3 months. He's been in custody since March on espionage charges. The U.S. government and the Wall Street Journal both say he is completely innocent, and there are no bases for the charges.
President George W. Bush, an executive director of the National Security Institute. Jamil, he was supposed to be potentially released at the end of April, but now it's been extended 3 more months. It could go up to 12 months. What do you make of these charges and the fact that they have Evan still detained?
Eric, obviously, these charges are trumped up, just like the charges were against Brittany Griner and the charges against Paul Whelan, Trevor Reed before him. This is an effort by the Russians to try and extort the United States for leverage. They want to get other folks out. They got Victor Boot out the first time. They got a cocaine smuggler out for Trevor Reed back in 2022. So they're trying to make a deal here, and the Biden administration appears willing to negotiate.
Can you say that again slowly, that the Biden administration is what?
They appear willing to negotiate here.
And will a negotiation succeed in freeing Evan?
Well, you know, it's hard to know because the question is, what is it the Russians are going to want here? Are they going to want another spy? What are they looking for here? In the past, they've sought hackers and the like. And so we've seen a cocaine smuggler once now. We've seen an arms dealer now. We'll see what they want for this trade. And given that the Biden administration does really want to get Evan out, the question then becomes, can they also get Paul Whelan out at the same time? He's been there for quite a while as well.
Yeah, is it a policy of Vladimir Putin, do you think, to when he can have an opportunity to grab an American and hold an American as a bargaining chip for potential future trades?
Absolutely it is. And unfortunately, Eric, it's becoming a policy of many nations. We see the Iranians as well. They've got 5 American citizens there who the Biden administration, once again, is willing to trade billions of dollars for. Now, of course, it's critically important, Eric, that we get these Americans out of these countries. But when they're being held unlawfully, we shouldn't be doing deals. We should be requiring these countries under penalty of sanctions and the like to get those people out. It shouldn't be a deal. It's one thing when you do a spy for spy swap. It's another thing when it's just them extorting you.
Luckily, the U.S. ambassador has met with Evan several times. He is said to be in good health, and we're very thankful for that. Let me read you a part of a statement that the Wall Street Journal gave on Thursday when it was announced that his detention was being extended. Quote, his improper detention was extended yet again. We are deeply disappointed. He continues to be arbitrarily and wrongfully detained for doing his job as a journalist. The baseless accusations against him are categorically false, and we continue to push for his immediate release. Journalism is not a crime. Do these words, when you're dealing with Vladimir Putin and his henchmen, do they help sway them at all in any way, or do you see no movement because of the type of government and grip that Putin has on the Russian people and the Russian apparatus?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Eric. It's not likely to have a lot of impact, particularly because they know the U.S. is willing to negotiate here. Had the administration held a stronger line and said, look, we're willing to negotiate when we're talking about a spy for spy swap or a criminal for criminal, right? You might argue the Trevor Reed deal was a reasonable deal. But once they knew they could get Victor Boot for Brittany Griner, now they have every incentive to hold folks like Evan, like Paul Whelan for longer until they get a deal that they want. And that's the problem with this strategy. Nothing wrong with trying to get an American home. It's problematic when you negotiate and give people an incentive to keep taking Americans.
So finally, what do you think potentially going to happen? Will he only be released if we swap him for somebody?
I mean, it does appear that way, unfortunately, and I think every day the Biden administration makes it clear that they're willing to negotiate. That price probably goes up because Russians know, like the Iranians do, that they have us over a barrel. So just as the Iranians have sought billions and billions of dollars from us to get those Americans home, I think the Russians are likely to extract an even higher price from us.
Every time you come into the Fox building, we share this building and are corporate cousins with the Wall Street Journal and News Corp. You see a huge photo of Evan downstairs at the elevators with the hashtag Free Evan. So we call on his release, and we hope the American people stand by that, because journalism is not a crime, no matter where you practice it. Jamil, Jaffer, thank you for joining us. We can only wait for that day when Evan has returned.
Thanks, Eric.
Alicia?